Today, we are going to complete an image just like this one to practice being a better painter, just like Bob Ross. When setting up to paint, it is very important that you cover your tables with paper to protect the tables from the acrylic paint. It is also very important to wear an apron or a smock or an old t-shirt to protect your clothes from the acrylic paint. You will be working on a piece of paper for practice. Please turn the paper over and write your name and class code clearly on the back. When creating a painting like the one we are going to do in class, you need the following supplies: a 2-inch brush, a palette knife, a fan brush, and a sea sponge. You will be storing your paint in an egg carton, and you will be using this egg carton during the entire project. The teacher will dispense the paint in the egg carton for you. You will also need your laptop for this assignment. It is very important that your laptop is a safe distance away from your paint. You will be using your laptop to follow along with a painting tutorial.
We are first going to begin with the flat 2-inch brush. Bob Ross uses this brush for a majority of his larger spaces, like the sky and the water. Okay, so we're going to begin with blue paint. You're going to throw your brush into the paint. You do not need to dip it all the way in. In fact, you should not. Just keep it right on the tip. For the sky, he uses a back and forth left-right motion. And he gently completes, he fills the space for his sky. If you overlap your mountain a bit or your tree, that is okay. Now, Bob Ross also does not leave anything as a solid color. He always mixes to get a value change. So here, I'm going to also dip my brush into the white, and I'm going to come down here with my lighter value, and left, right, flick, flick, flick. I'm creating a subtle, soft value change for the sky. The next way that Bob Ross uses the flat 2-inch brush is by using it horizontally in long strokes to create water. So we're just going to take this brush in nice, even, flat strokes across your paper to create the water. Again, he uses extra colors to create value change. So we're going to use a little bit of white up here. The next tool we're going to learn about is the palette knife. For the palette knife, you're going to dip it into your paint, and for a mountain, you're going to use the flat side. You're going to drag it up the side of the mountain and pull down, almost like you are frosting a cake. And I do a little white highlight on it. Another way we use the palette knife is to make tree trunks. Just dip it into your paint and pull. Make 2, please. Now we're going to use the fan brush. We're going to dip it into the green and come over to the top. We're going to make the top of the evergreen trees. Think about evergreen trees' shapes. They're kind of in the shape of a triangle with the base wider than the top. So the top needs to stay nice and skinny. Even though it says fan brush, we're not really brushing, we're more like plopping, poking that paint onto the paper. Skinny at the top, dabbing the paint. Now we're going to fill in these trees using a lighter tone of green. I have mixed some yellow in with my green, and you can start anywhere, the top or the bottom, and you just want to dab in to fill it out, to flush out your tree a little bit. You should still see part of the trunk. Now we're going to add the reflections into the water. They are broken a little bit. They're not solid. Just a hint of what's above. Another tool we're going to use is the sea sponge. We're using a sea sponge because the pattern is irregular and it's going to make great bushes or foliage for trees. So you're going to dip it in and blot it, and maybe even blot it a little bit over here. We don't want it to be a solid hunk. Then you're going to come over here and add a row of bushes. It's okay if your painting does not look exactly like Bob Ross's. You're not him. We're just trying to experiment with a different type of art form for you. Now I'm taking a highlight color and brushing it on my sea sponge, and I'm going to pop that in just to accentuate the tops of the bushes. Finally, I need a bit of a shadow, a highlight or a reflection onto the water. Finally, we need a line that separates the land from the water, the bushes from the reflection. So we're going to take our palette knife again and dip it in white, and we're just going to sketch in a little bit of a white line here that separates the water from the ground.
Cleanup is going to be very important. There will be two separate groups doing two separate things. One group is going to get masking tape. You're going to place the tape on the lid of your egg carton and write your name on top. You will store your egg carton where your teacher tells you to.
Another group will be cleaning out their brushes. Please do not turn the water on full speed because that will just get the paint reflected back at you. Keep the temperature at a comfortable temperature for you, and you're going to use your hands to get all of the paint out of your sponge. You may need to use some soap. You're going to keep working it until the water coming out of it is clear. You will repeat that process for every single tool that you used. Because acrylic paint dries to a waterproof finish, it will destroy the brushes and tools if it's not cleaned out. So you really need to take the time to clean your tools.
After you have cleaned up properly, it's now time to put your painting on the drying rack. It's very important that you carry your painting with two hands. Your painting will be turned into the drying rack. Make sure that your painting does not touch anyone else's, otherwise they will fuse together. You may reuse the paper that was protecting your table again for next time. Please place these papers where your teacher tells you to, and then hang up your smock or your apron or your old t-shirt. Now the exciting part of the project happens where we would like for you to Google Bob Ross painting tutorials and choose one that you would like to do.
So you have so many choices out there. You can look at all of his videos on YouTube. This is a teacher telling you go on to YouTube for a change. YouTube Bob Ross, and scroll through and find the video that you feel strongly about, that you like the colors or you like the arrangement, and please bookmark it so that you do not lose track of that video.
When you choose a Bob Ross tutorial, he already sets us up for success when using our elements and principles of art.
One of the greatest parts about this project is the opportunity for revision and reflection. For example, in this student work, the student was unhappy with his first wave painting, the painting of the wave. What he had to do was wait for it to dry, and he painted a second wave right over the top. It was through this second chance and reflection that he was able to accomplish something he was truly proud of. Keep in mind that through experimentation and practice and hard work, happy accidents may happen. For example, this young lady was almost done with her painting, and it was beautiful, and she dropped her paintbrush up near the top left corner. She did not freak out. Instead, she turned that little smudge into a soaring bird, ready to experience this landscape. Keep in mind, too, you are not by yourself. If you have tried and you've tried to do something again and you become frustrated to the point of tears or near tears, please do not let this experience be one that brings you down. Please feel free to reach out to your teacher. She cares about you very much. She wants this to be a joyful experience, not one of frustration. We're here to help.